Hey guys, it's Stav here, and we're doing the 6.5 tier list. As you can see, we have these different tiers, S, A, B, C, D, or just to kind of give you a simplified version of that, it's going to be meta, great, good, passable, bad, and rework. And then at the very end, we're going to put our picks for the best Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist. We're starting with the Strategist, then moving on to Duelist, and then we're going to end with the Vanguards. Let's get this started off with Adam Warlock. Adam is, still really bad even after the rework. His flying animation is really goofy. I don't know about you guys, but I always go with Adam in a triple support. But even then, majority of Adam players really blow. And every time I see him fly, it's always, they fly now. That clip from Star Wars, it's, just because they gave him a little bit of movement doesn't mean that 99.5% of Adam players all suck. I'm throwing him in bad, but there's a little bit of caveat with that because once you get into the higher ranks, there's legitimately just comps built around Adam. So when you get into Eternity Plus, he probably goes into that C plus tier, just on the border of being really good. But for majority of the player base, he's just a bad pick. You could do a lot better than Adam Warlock. Next up, we have Cloak and Dagger. She just hasn't changed. 2 Terror Capes is insane. Ult, you are very vulnerable, so kind of just do 1 carpet for the team and then just go away. So you don't get mag ulted, you don't get shotgun from Punisher, Hawkeye sniped, or just bursted down, or Groot ulted. She's still a great pick. Cloak and Dagger is going in A tier. Stratpool. Stratpool is, he was misinterpreted as being a good character early on. The problem with Stratpool is he gets significantly worse the more you play the game or play the round. He's great neutral. You ult every fight, which is both good and a bad thing, because the ult sucks, and that's, I think, where it's supposed to be. There's not really much to say with Stratpool. He's very passable as a strategist. Not so great. It's just kind of an pick. Next up, we have Gambit. Gambit, even after his nerf, is still really good. The ultimate is just what makes this character go. It's the first engagement ultimate that's, not Mantis's, that just completely swaps the fight. He's a lot squishier now and does a little bit less damage and healing than from his launch. He also breaks a character, which I'll get to. He breaks 2 characters with his team up, Mag and Rogue. Definitely benefit with Gambit being out there. I've seen a lot of Gambit bans, and he's just so good. Definitely meta for sure. Gambit's going into the S tier. Another person going into the S tier is Invis Woman. You just get so much value for existing. Self-shield, ult, really good. Your push and pull, even though it did get nerfed to be on a longer cooldown, still is ridiculous. It's so easy to hit. And her shift is really nice too. That little ball form thingy, I forget what it's called, but it sucks people into it as well. So you can go for some cheeky ledge kills if comboed up with the right person or right hero. But she just gets so much more value than any other main support. Invis is definitely going into S tier. Shark's really hard to rank because I'm a Shark player and he has a lot of problems. Ultimate can either wipe a fight or completely be a dud. You can ult defensively, but it's not the greatest. Does get shut down by a lot of things. Jeff Nato is also a really, really good team up. With Storm getting her changes in 6.5, you do see a lot more Jeff Nato now. All 4 Storm players, got a lot better in the neutral. But still, this character has a lot of problems. Very squishy, extremely killable. when just completely focused. Really more of a third support because of how much damage he does, but can be played in that dual support. I'm going to throw him at the very top of C tier. It's right on that edge of being really good, but it's just so easily counterable. And, of course my boy is just, he's just Jeffing it, Next up we have Loki. He's going to be the last of the supports, or the strategist, going in S tier. The fact that you do copy one of these two ults every game is just peak. Having two Gambit ults is quite frankly completely broken, and then two Invis ults can be good, but Loki, even after the ammo nerf, is just running lobbies. Loki's just super, super good. He's definitely going in that S tier. Next up, we have Luna Snow. Luna Snow is really, really... she's still a great pick, but she does get... there is a significant gap between these three and these two. As well as she does or as she did, she's definitely taking a step back, for sure. Luna Snow definitely going in that A tier. Mantis, this is the last. I said Loki was the last support. This is the last support going in the meta tier. She's still the best third support. She's ridiculously good at just breaking characters. She can do damage herself. You can even flank on this character if you're good enough. But Sleep's still super, super good. Ultimate still, you hit Q and walk in. You break Loki with the damage amp shots. You break Groot. She's just great. She's a great pick. Rocket. Rocket's probably the closest to this S tier than these two. The only thing that happens with Rocket is there's a character that completely takes him out of the game. You only really get value out of Rez. His ult's not great, unless you know exactly where to place it on every single map in every situation. Good amount of healing, does a lot of healing. Ult can be good, but you really got all your value out of a Rez and staying alive on Rocket. Next up, Ultron. Ultron is really bad. Probably worst strategist right now. And he pops. He doesn't do enough damage. The double healing drone is nice, but they should just the whole thing with Ultron is, in the past, if you got your ult, you get your ult first and you get a pick, and he's not doing that nowadays. And his ult sucks unless you can get it first and get a pick. And Ultron going in that D tier. These are the strategists ranked. I think I did a pretty good job, but just let me know where you guys think these characters should go in the comments or in Twitch chat. That's where I think the strategists rank. Next up, we have Panther. This character needs a rework. He's bordering... He used to be really good, and now he just completely sucks. He huffs wind. He's good up until Plat, and then even then, there's better characters. But in higher tiers, he just gets deleted. Ultra squishy, easily counterable, especially by the best picks. But even if you're getting, crushed by B tier picks, this character's bad. I don't even know how to explain it. You just pop, and if you find someone that can aim, you pop too. Widow, I've been trying to push the narrative of this character. It's not as bad as people think. This character now needs a rework with Elsa Bloodstone coming out. She's awful. The single dive counter one shot. She does everything. Okay, but not bad. Elsa just does everything better than this character. Besides healing, which when has that team up really ever used? With Widow and Phoenix, you'd be playing in a hard poke if that was true. But you still can get one shots with a Mantis team up. This character just needs the one shots shouldn't be in the game. In my opinion, I think one-shots are really, really cheap, because if you can accidentally do it, then it really shouldn't be possible. But I would go on a whim and say a rework to maybe a strategist role for Widow. Make that healing bullet do just a little bit more damage and the same amount of healing, and maybe make her sludge still slow enemies, still do a little bit of damage, but maybe makes a healing pool. But, you know, she's just been bad for a long time. And, of course, you know, Widow is notorious. We'll just say that. I'll leave it there. Next up, we have Blade. Blade's just bad. I don't know what the role is. And you know what? Blade's bad enough to where he needs a rework. He probably needs to go to the Vanguard tier, or Vanguard class. You know, anti-heal is not really that much of an issue, especially with triple strategist. You just don't really know what he does. Like, does he dive? Does he brawl? Yes. Can he poke? Yeah, kind of with the shotgun, but just it's all super underwhelming and has been for a long time. He needs a rework. I think he needs to be a tank. Next up, we have Daredevil. Daredevil's going in the S tier. Daredevil's really, really good. The best pure dive in the game. You know, has a lot of survivability, really good ult, good information. Especially if you can coordinate dive with either a tank or maybe a damage boost from Mantis, or coordinate your pushes with your Gambit, where he eased the backline, and that's an easy pick for Daredevil. You know, super, super solid character. Really, really good. Next up, we have Deadpool. Deadpool he's bad. I won't lie. The DPS version of Deadpool is just really bad. You know, you need perfect mechanics to pull him off. Even then, there's a lot better characters, and he's very, very underwhelming as kind of what we wanted him to be. And just definitely doesn't do enough. He doesn't do enough at any tier. Yeah, he's just a bad character, but not enough to warrant a rework, if that makes sense. Did get a little bit of a change in Season 6.5 with his ult, but besides that, you know, just the neutral kit is really bad. Elsa Bloodstone. Now, when she came out, she was completely broken. But Elsa, still going in that meta tier. Again, completely shuts down dive. Pokes really well. Brawls even better. Ultimate, really, really good just by itself. But when you combo it, it's insane. Elsa Bloodstone, still going in that S tier. Really, really good character to pick. Next up, Hawkeye. You know, he did get nerfed into kind of not oblivion, but he took a significant chunk to where he was S tier. Now I think he goes in kind of that A tier, where it's still a strong character, right? But doesn't one tap, doesn't two tap tanks. Ultimate's still really good. But needs to be played in that poke situation. And even then, I think they did a really, really good job with, you know, limiting the accidental headshots and giving players a little bit more of a chance against a Hawkeye. That's really good. Next up, we have Hela. Hela's still really, really strong. Doesn't quite have the same oppression as she once did. I'm going to throw her right next to Hawkeye into that great tier. I don't think she's quite meta after the change. The team up with Namor is actually crazy still. And if you're pairing an A tier character with a character that we'll get into, but he's S tier, it's still really, really good. She still is a really good hit scan with an iframe and a stun, right? And a decent ultimate that gets worse and worse the higher you climb, but can be comboed with the correct ultimates to completely change the fight. Hela going in A tier. Next up, we have Torch, and I think this is the first person going into B tier. Torch is really good, especially if people can't aim. But no, if Phoenix and Hela are banned out, he kind of does play in that brawly style, but it is susceptible to just get bursted out. Good Torch players know how to work around this. The best of the best Torch players, you know, they can really punch people in the face really hard. And we still won't forget the time when Torch was completely broken, and just a big menace. But good brawler, the kind of a flying brawling style, still really really good, or not really really good, but just kind of good in the right hands as well. Torch going in B tier. Next up, Iron Fist. I'm still under the impression Iron Fist is really good. He's definitely top 8 in the game in the DPS role. He's one of the 2 people that I know that can 1v6. Has the best chances of 1v6. Iron Fist is going to go into the A tier for me. He does a lot of damage and completely shreds tanks. Can go front to back, back to front. Wherever you need him, he'll be there. Next up, we have Iron Man. This is just a bad pick. Completely gets shredded out anywhere above plat or even diamond. I would say you still can run an Iron Man in diamond and have some success, but once you start getting into the GM where players aren't playing with their monitors off, Iron Man will just get dumpstered on. Ultimate, really susceptible to just getting popped, but even then you still have the chance to team wipe, but it's not great. Iron Man going into that D tier. Next up, Magic. This is the other DPS that can 1v6 in my mind. She's really good in the right hands, very okay in the other, and in other people's hands. I'm going to throw her in an A. I think she's really great. Played at the highest level. You can go front to back, back to front, just like Iron Fist. Completely shred apart people. And Magic's just in a really good spot right now. Next up, we have Mr. Fantastic. He's going to go into the B tier. Really good anti-dive. A lot of survivability. New team up with Star-Lord and Rocket that makes him a little bit better. But yeah, your job on Mr. F is just to sit on the backline, and he does that really well. But he can also he can brawl a little bit, but that's not really where you want him. He gets the most value out of that anti-dive. Moon Knight. Moon Knight is going into the A tier. He really hasn't changed since launch. Besides the ultimate change, you walk on Moon Knight, he pops. But if you don't walk on Moon Knight, he can completely run your fade. He does a lot of damage. Gets his ult extremely quickly. Just a really solid character. He's going in the A tier. Namor really got a lot better in Season 6 in the neutral fight with the rework change. His neutral kit just got a lot better. The second best anti-dive in the game. He's going in S tier. Can 2-tap 250 HP targets. Applies a lot of pressure to divers. Applies a lot of pressure to the front line. He just does a lot. And, of course, the ultimate can be a team wipe if paired with, something like a Groot and Angela. Something like that. Really good character. Next up, we got Phoenix. This is the best hit scan in the game. Or maybe second best with Elsa. This character is still a hit scan with an iframe and a stun, with a lot better ultimate than Hela. Now, she's no longer the best DPS in the game. That I think may go to another character. We'll get to him. But she's top 5 for sure. Top 5 DPS in the game. And she does a lot. Next up, we have Psylocke. Psylocke, with the damage changes to her ultimates, while getting a little bit more range, it just did nothing for me besides, it just really did nothing besides take her down slightly, which she was already on the cusp of being meta. I think she's just a great pick now. Kind of that hybrid, poke someone out, isolate, and kill them. Kind of sort of dive, going from front to back. She can back to front somewhat well, but there's a lot better people that do that. Psylocke going into A I think is a good choice. Next up, we have Wanda. Wanda does her job. She's a bad character, but anti-dives, okay. Ultimate can do something sometimes anywhere under I'd say Diamond 3. She's just not great. But, you know, the noob's best friend is just okay. Next up, we got Spider-Man. He's going into the B tier. I think he's in a really good spot. He's lacking something that would put him over the edge. I don't think Spider-Man ever needs to change right now. I will say the only thing that feels bad with Spider-Man is kind of just ledge kills. They take a lot of skill, but it feels really cheap, if that makes sense. It's not a great feeling getting ledged by Spider-Man. And, you know, be that as it may, it's part of his kit, but you know, Spider-Man, I think he's just in a really, really good spot. Easily die, it's a lot of give and take. Spider-Man's really soft, really squishy sometimes, but he can also run a lobby, and paired with the right hands. Next up, we have Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is just I feel like she's become so overhated. She's kind of underrated, if that makes sense. Good for breaking a spawn hold, but you know, she can run a lobby if she wanted to, which is really weird to say. If she can get to that backline, get an angle on the strategists, she can do a little bit of damage. It's not bad. I'm going to throw her in passable. I don't know. I'm buying some stock on Squirrel Girl. I think she's C tier. Next up, we have Star-Lord. This might be the best DPS in the game. What didn't need to happen was Star-Lord getting his ult even faster. Less ease over the enemy means more uptime on that ultimate, and the ultimate's really good. Counterable, yes, but still really good. Not the best pure dive in the game, but dives really well. You can play him into Brawl Comp. He does struggle a little bit into Poke. Struggles a lot into Namor and Phoenix, but if you can get in with Star-Lord, he does a lot of damage. He does a lot of damage. Star-Lord going in that S tier. Storm. Storm's going to go in A. Storm is really, really good, especially in neutral now. Does a lot of damage, like a ridiculous amount of damage. Ultimate's really good if there's no Phoenix, but is susceptible to be bursted down. And of course, we all know the Jeff Nato. She has her place, and that's a good thing. Storm's really good for the game. She's going to go into A tier. Following her into A tier is Punisher. Punisher is also really, really strong and really good. Does a lot of burst damage. You know, good anti-dive with that shotgun. The turret's kind of useless. Does a lot of splash damage to get ult. And the smoke grenade and grappler or whatever. But if you can keep up a good Punisher, you know, he can build a lot of value. Especially with who's meta on the tank list. Punisher's a really good spot. And in a really good spot right now. Next up, we have Bucky. Now, I said Star-Lord might be the best DPS in the game. This might be the best DPS in the game. I feel like there's a big 3 or a big 4 in terms of DPS right now, and it's not Phoenix and Hela, which is, I think, a good thing. But Bucky's been good since release and has never really fallen below B tier or even A tier. Now that I'm thinking about it, he shouldn't be able to do all the things that he does. He's broken in terms of he can brawl with the best of them. He can 2-shot down main. He just does so much, and that's why I think he's S tier. Following Bucky into S tier, I have Wolverine. Wolverine is on that cusp of A, but I think Wolverine is just ridiculous. Takes the tank out of the game, especially solo tanks. If you're running triple DPS, like a 1-2-3 comp, Wolverine will break that comp so easily. Wolverine's just ridiculous, man. The little Satan of a character. I do not like Wolverine in this game, mostly because I was a Magneto main. But he does have his counters, going Emma, going Groot. Mag, kind of shuts him down. Angela does really well into him. Thing obviously does really well to him. And then the push from Sue is really good. Also, Bucky is really good. You know, now that I think about it, I'm going to throw him in A tier. Wolverine is really good still as a pick. But, you know, he has his counters. But it still feels kind of cheap, if that makes sense. All right. That is the DPS tier. The the Duelist tier. Next up, we have our Vanguards. Now, we start off with Angela. This character is very feast or famine, but most of the time she does feast. 50 shield change nerf in Season 6 brought her from S tier to A tier. She does pop a lot easier, but I still think she's in a good spot. Can be comboed up with Namor with her ult, but you need to run 2 tanks with her. She is not a solo tank, not even close. But Angela going in that A tier, I think she's a great character. Cap's gonna go in B tier. You know, Ultimate is the best thing about this character. Stalling cart, doing, gaining ult charge while, applying pressure to the back line. This character does a lot. He's just a good, solid pick. And especially in the right hands, he can carry a game, but more often than not, he's just going to be right in that middle of the pack where he does what he does. Next up, we have Tank Pool. Tank Pool's actually going in S tier. This character does ridiculous amounts of damage and does so much. He does Thor's job better than Thor. Upgrading those deagles on Tank Pool and then hitting E and melting people is really, really good. You almost want to get behind them and, shred people down, but he can frontline as well. This is obviously a second tank. That bubble is really used for isolation and mowing people down with those guns while, you have your Groots, you have your Emmas, you have your Strangers, you have your Mags, running in the front line. But he does so much damage and can take over a game. I'm throwing Tank Pool into the S tier. Doctor Strange, recent team up with Invis, which is both a gift and a curse because you do more damage and you do a little bit of healing, right? But you never really want to walk out with Strange. So it's give and take there. If you walk out with Strange, you better be prepared to, give up your life if you need to. You can't really be the last one to die on point with Strange. I'm throwing him in A because he's a great character. But he's not quite meta. Doctor Strange is a really, really solid pick right now. Emma Frost. I'm going to throw her in S tier, but there is a better tank. This character literally takes away the ability to play the video game for so many characters on this roster. It's not funny. Really, it's just holding beam charge, melting people down, using diamond form correctly, and then either countering an ult with like someone like Star-Lord with your own ultimate, or just dictating the pace of a fight with your ultimate, or comboing. She does a lot of stuff really, really well. Emma Frost definitely going in that S tier. Groot, this is the best Vanguard in the game, for sure. I'm preemptively putting him here, but he's an S tier pick. Groot's just ridiculous right now. CC wall making him CC immune, really, really good. Great team up with Mantis. Dictates the pace of the fight really well. Cuts off line of sight. Great ultimate. Even better if you have teammates to follow up with him. It just does so much, so well. And there's no damage drop off. So as they're running in, you do as much damage as you possibly can. Groot, the best Vanguard in the game right now. Hulk. I struggle where to put Hulk because I want to put him. My heart says, hey, put him in C tier because you get the Hulk specialists that actually run Fade, but the character is bad. I'm going to throw him in D tier. No, because he's not as bad as Penny. He can be passable. The problem is he's really susceptible to high amounts of burst. And that's a problem because, bubbles are great. They gain ult charge and you get damage mitigation, but in order to be effective with ult and play make, you kind of need to get in. And if you're already half HP when you get in, you might as well be a DPS with not as much movement. It is what it is. Hulk, I'm gonna throw him in passable, but my brain is telling me to put him in bad. Magneto, I think Mag is criminally overrated. In the fact that he does shut down the ultimates well. His ult's really good. His bubbles are really good. His shield's really good. But the neutral fight, most people aren't getting the right click, left click, right click combo off. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw Mag in A tier. Everyone's gonna put Mag in S tier in their tier list. I'm gonna be a little bit different. He's just not, super super good right now. Like he's not the put the block in the square hole character anymore. There's better picks, and I think Emma and Groot outclass him. Next up, we have Penny. This character's bad. This character's dog shit. She does have her maps, but even then, after losing the second nest, sucks. Oh well. Sorry, Penny. Nice knowing you. Next up, we have Rogue. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Rogue. I think I'm going to throw him in the top of S. Top of A. Rogue's really good. And barring Gambit playing the video game, right? Rogue goes into S tier if Gambit's on her team. But she's B tier without him. So I'm just sandwiching her in the middle. She does a lot of good things. She's the second tank. She can go front to back, back to front. She can flank. She does a lot of things really well. And the only thing you can't do with her is just walk down main, or else you will get completely demolished just through the hardcore poke that's in this game, and it's kind of oppressive. But Rogue, really, really good. And the ultimate's insane, too. Next up, we have Thing. Thing is going to go into A tier as well. Actually, you know what? I think he's going to go in B tier. He has this new team up with Hulk. The Pain Bros is everywhere on TikTok, on Twitter. I love the team up, me personally. But Thing, the best tank anti-dive in the game. Good amount of burst with his right click. Ultimate can be really good if comboed. He's just a good, solid pick. And you get the Thing specialist that will run your fade super hard and get MVP with like 50 assists and, 10 plus finals and with most damage blocked. And, he does a lot. Next up, we have Thor. With the addition to Tank Pool and with how good he is, Thor's going to go in A tier because, the fat DPS archetype is just done better by someone else. He's been power crept down to A tier instead of S tier in my eyes. But does everything that Deadpool should. If you play Deadpool and he gets banned out, or Tank Pool and he gets banned out, you immediately revert to Thor because he does the same thing, just a tad bit worse. Can go front to back, back to front. Really good flank watch. If you catch a DPS that's ready to flank, can sit in the back line as well. Really does struggle into the burst heavy comps. The Phoenix, the Hela, the Elsa, but does have his place. And finally, the last character I'm going to rank today is Venom. Venom just got a buff to his ultimate survivability rate. Venom's going to go in the bottom of A. Really solid dive tank. I don't know why they I don't know why they buffed him or buffed his ult. I thought his ult was really strong. But yeah, Venom's going in the A tier. He's really he's a great character right now. Across all roles. And that will do it in terms of the ranking. Now, getting on to the best Vanguard duelist and strategist. For Vanguard, it's obviously Groot. I put him up there. He's great. For strategist, I'm actually going to throw Loki in there. The fact of the matter is, Gambit should theoretically be up there, but the fact that you can copy a Gambit ult and have two of them because this character exists, on top of that, breaking or the absolute ass whooping that you can dish out with Mantis team up. The fact that if Gambit is banned, that you get two really oppressive ults off, and just being the most versatile support in the game. Yeah, he got nerfed, but it doesn't really matter. Sorry. Loki's going in that best of the best. Now, the Duelist. The Duelist is really, really hard to rank because it's no longer like a stupid easy pick. I'm struggling between two. Elsa's really good, but not really in contention after the nerf. Namor's really good, and Phoenix is really good, but not really in that contention. Daredevil's a little bit too one-sided, or a little bit too niche of a pick that can't just fill every spot. The two I'm thinking of is Star-Lord and Bucky. I don't know. Comment section, please help me out, because I do not know where to put these characters. Right now, I think it's going to be Star-Lord. Star-Lord just does a little bit more, like, it has a little bit higher of a ceiling, but Bucky definitely has the floor. You know what? I'm changing my mind. Bucky's the best duelist in this game. He just does everything so well. But then he doesn't dive well. And Star-Lord dives really well, and pokes decently, and brawls decently. No, I'm sticking my guns. I think Bucky's just broken. He just does too much. He does way too damn much. And that's it. That's the tier list for 6.5. Like, subscribe, comment what you think. Come follow me over on Twitch. We just made this live on Twitch. Chat, say hi. Yeah. This is the 6.5 tier list. Peace, guys.